Welcome back. In this segment, we are going to talk about working with multiple images, in particular your own image in this case. So let's get right to it. And you can see here the script I have provided to you as an example to show you working with images. And on line 5 and 6, as I highlight here, these are where I am importing two different images into our workflow for us to work with. And here we can just pretend that we have our own image and we want to work with it there. And then on line 9 to 12, this is where we are creating an image collection. And with image collection, I just wanted to briefly mention that one of the very powerful features of Google Earth Engine is to have the capability to merge different images together. And this is oftentimes done for example, Google Earth. When we are seeing the Google Earth, it looks like a very perfect cloudless Earth that is displayed in front of us. But oftentimes when we are looking at satellite image, it's not the case. As I showed in the previous video, there are obviously clouds covering Earth at different points of time. Oftentimes it's random, and it's not easy to make a composite that is completely cloudless, such as Google Earth. And Google Earth team and also Google Earth Engine team came up with the idea of having this composite, so having multiple layers of satellite image, and when you look down onto this image cube, as you put it, this cube will display different layers of image from different time. So you can go in there and pick literally based on each pixel to pull out the pixel that has no cloud inside of it. And then at the end, you put all of the pixels, combine them together into an image that looks perfect without cloud inside of them. And this is where Google Earth Engine comes as a very powerful tool to use, because the image collection, which I will be soon mentioning, is at the core where this is happening, how the image is being stacked and combined to do various things. So let's just get right back to line 9. And that is what image mosaic I'm constructing looks like. Mosaicing simply just means combining images together. On line 15, as I highlighted there, this is composing. So the difference between composing and mosaicing is composing is you are doing something to that image data cube that I mentioned earlier to get another image that retains the information from that cube that you have, but you are just generating a single image that you are trying to look at. So here I use the max function. This is simply just extracting the pixel values for those two images based on the maximum value that is reflected back from the Earth. And I will show you example after for how this looks like, of course. And on line 18, that's where I locate the center of my map, so I don't have to pan around the map to look for my image. On line 21 to 24, this is where I display the various image data inside the map. So we have the image 1, image 2, which is the original 2 image. And then on line 23, this is the mosaic image. As you will see how Google Earth Engine displays a cube of image from the different time. And then on 24 is where I display that composite image based on the image 1 and image 2 mosaic. And then on line 27 to 28, those are where we are going to look at in the console the different metadata associated with the mosaic and the composite itself. And we can be able to differentiate what is what based on those differences. So why don't we hit run here? And the results will hopefully display down here. Okay, so initially, we displayed everything. As I mentioned in the previous video, I used this false term, which suppressed the display of any image in my map. So if I want to look at it, I can simply just put my mouse right over the layer, and now you see a drag down menu of the different images that you can display. So why don't we just display the 1 and 2 as we did in the previous video. So now you are seeing the two different satellite images that I imported into this script. And the mosaic image, as we go back, just looking at the script, here on line 9 to 12, as I mentioned earlier, this is where I combine those two images together, and let's see what that looks like. So here is the mosaic image. Obviously, you can only look at the top layer of that image cube. And one way you can check if those images combine correctly is sometimes you can look at, for example, if I zoom out here real quick, you can simply look at, for example, if I zoom in here, this might not be a good example. If we go to a different corner here, so as you can see, the edges of the image doesn't match up perfectly. So this is one evidence you're seeing that the composite has combined appropriately for the two different images. So that is the mosaic image. And then the next step, what we did was to compose the maximum value for each pixel to display an image composite. So what does that look like if I just check the composite image? And now you're looking at an image composite. And if I zoom out, it's easier to see here. One way to check if this worked is checking the clouds. Basically, if you have, let's say, the second image as we show here, if you see the cloud patterns looks like a squiggly dots there. These are the cloud patterns from image 2. But if I turn off this image 2 and look at image 1, you see these cloud patterns looks like kind of giant clouds that are all combined together. So when we compose them together, we should be able to see both of those cloud patterns presenting in our image. So that is where the image looks like this. So now you'll see both the giant cloud pattern, but also the squiggly small cloud patterns there. And this is a very useful way to look at images. As I mentioned before, if you want to remove cloud, there's functions built in Google Earth Engine to compose an image mosaic to do that. But in this case, we're just showing you an example to combine all the maximum values of the pixels, as you see there. So display-wise, this is what the difference looks like, a mosaic versus composite and working with multiple images. But if we just look at the console as I drag it out from the right here, so now in the console, as you see there, there are two different elements that is being printed inside this console area there. And if I open up the image collection, as you see, there are two elements in the parentheses there. So that is telling us there are two different images inside that image collection. And if we just expand this under the features, you will see the two images that we just combined together into this image collection of the two elements that you are seeing. So different from an image collection, we constructed that composite image, and that is simply just an image that we are demonstrating there. So in the image itself, it has bands, of course, and that's where you're seeing the different bands associated with this composite image that we just built. So there you have it. That's how you can work with your own image and especially multiple images to make them more meaningful and to work with demonstrating and looking at multiple layers of information. And in the next segment, we will talk about how to work with Google Earth Engine's own image collection, which is another powerful feature, and hope to see you there. Thank you.